What's up, y'all? Before we get to the video, I just wanted to remind you about my first giveaway. If you'll go back and watch the previous video entitled Giveaway Adidas plus Angelus, you will see that I'm giving away 3 brand new vacuum sealed undesed Angelus shoe trees, and also an Adidas Consortium and End Naked Magmore runner in UK size 8.5, which translates to a men's 9, women's 10. This is a women's shoe, so know that before you bid on it. Well, not really bid, before you take part in the giveaway. As I mentioned, all the information about the giveaways in the previous video, including what to do, how to do it, and when the giveaway ends. Spoiler alert, it ends this Sunday, April 7th, 2019, the year of our Lord. Having said all of that, another Nicholas Seth Fowler, let's get on to the video. You would be correct. It is in fact Yeezy season. Adidas and Yeezy have gone crazy this season. They've released so many colorways of the 350, of the 700. There's a rumor about a 451. There's tons of other ones. Adidas has gone on record to say they want to release up to 20 different Yeezys this year. Whew, that can be exhausting, especially if you've grown tired of the 350 V2, which honestly, I have, until they released the static. I totally dug on that, thought it was cool, and then for the last few weeks, they've released 3 different 350 V2 colorways, regional exclusive. There was the Hyperspace, there was a Terraform, that was all Asia, Europe, etc. Here in America, in these United States of America, we got the Clay. Now, there are plenty of videos on YouTube where you're gonna see on-feet reviews, full reviews, etc. Not gonna give you one of those. Instead, I'm gonna focus on a little bit of one question and a lot bigger on the second question. Number 1, how does it fit? I wear a full size larger in the 350 V2 than I do, say, an Ultra Boost. I'm a normal size 9. In the 350 V2, I wear a size 10. There's an aggressive toe box, and just the way the silhouette is, I find that a full size bigger fits me perfectly. However, this silhouette does tend to fit ever so slightly bigger than I would assume a normal V2 fits. I tried on my Sesames, and this feels just a little bit looser. I'm not prepared to say that I could have gone only up half a size to 9.5, but I think half a size, full size up would have been just fine for me. So the best I can tell you is order the normal shoe size that you order in 350 V2s, and you should be fine, I hope. And now for kind of the biggest question I've seen out on internet land, out on ShoeTube. What is with the colorway? Why don't we talk about that? Oh, I just happen to have one right here. As everyone will tell you, you have to see this shoe in person to totally believe it. I know that doesn't do you a whole lot of good because you're watching this on a phone, on an iPad, on a TV, on a movie theater screen, or if you're Jerry Jones, you're probably watching me at Jerry World on your huge screen. You're a subscriber, aren't you? So yes, this colorway is amazing in person. Pictures don't do it justice. It's a crazy mix of orange and peach and brown and beige. And really, the best way I can help you figure out what color this really is by comparing it to other colorways of other silhouettes so you can get an idea of just what kind of orange this is, just what kind of peach this is, just what kind of brown and beige this really is. So why don't we talk about and compare this colorway, and the orange specifically, to some of the other colorways out there that have orange in their colorways. First, I wanted to show you what I thought is an everyday normal color of orange. For that, I decided to compare the Clay colorway with the Pharrell Williams Adidas Solar Boost in the multicolor colorway. As you can see, this shoe has what many would consider your normal kind of orange. It's a little bit burnt, a little bit dark, not quite bright like yellow. It's not a bright orange. I would say this is normal everyday orange. Probably the color orange that comes in your 8 color version of your Crayola crayons. That's right, I said crayons. Do I say that funny to you? Crayons? Obviously, by looking at this, you can tell they're not the same color orange. It's not the same color on the prime knit upper, it's not the same color on the midsole, and it's not the same orange on the pull tab. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of what normal orange looks like in comparison to the Clay colorway. Next up, we have the Adidas Nmd R1 in the Solar Red colorway. This is nowhere near the color of the Clay V2, but a lot of people have been throwing out Solar Red, Solar Orange descriptors to describe the pull tab. And while yes, this orange on the Yeezy does have a solar-like quality to it, it's definitely not Solar Red, especially when you compare it to what Adidas calls Solar Red in their Nmd R1 Solar Red colorway. Next, we compare the Clay colorway to the Adidas Nemesis Tango Ultra Boost. As you can see, this is orange and black. It's closer to a solar orange, or a volt orange, if you will. And this is actually a little bit closer to the orange on the back of the pull tab. However, the Nemesis does seem to have a little bit more red or pink undertones, so it definitely does not match what's going on the clay colorway. But I think we are definitely getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. Now I realize this next silhouette's a little bit cheating because it has so many reds and oranges and yellows in it, but when you look at the Adidas Ultra Boost Targaryen Dragon shoe, well, surely there's a little bit of orange in this shoe that matches the clay colorway. You can see the oranges, you can see the yellows, and I think when you take the toe box colorway of the Ultra Boost, surely you can see some similarities in color to the Prime Knit upper, and especially to the pull tab on the clay. But other than that, there's not one specific color on the Ultra Boost that really matches what's on the clay V2. If you'll allow me to cross brand for a moment, now we have the Nike Air Max 720 in the Sunrise colorway. Now, at the front of this shoe, you have more of a yellow, burnt yellow colorway. Not exactly what matches the clay V2. However, when you get to sort of the back middle portion of the shoe or the very back, you find that there's a more burnt orange, more maroon, more peach-ish color on the upper, and you find a peach color in the 720 airbag that you find in the back of the shoe. While not exact, I do find that the colorway of the peach airbag on the Air Max does kind of match the color a little closer to the clay V2. And I think you can find a little bit on the upper of the 720 that matches the upper of the clay V2. Again, not an exact match, but this gives you an idea of how close Nike is and Adidas are on this whole peach orange colorway. Up to this point, I've only talked about the orange, the peach kind of colors that you find on the clay V2. But what about the beige or the off-white or the gray color that you find mixed in that on the Prime Knit upper? Many people have said it's basically a sesame colorway Yeezy. And as you can see, they're kind of right. Now, it's not an entirely all sesame colorway. I think the sesame is a nice undertone that you'll find on the Prime Knit upper. And yes, I think they used the sesame colorway as the basis for what they wanted to build the second color on the Prime Knit upper. But I think depending on the light, depending on the angle, etc., you can make a case that it is the sesame colorway underneath. You could also say, no, it's not the sesame colorway underneath. I do think it is lighter than the sesame color, but again, I could be convinced that it is sesame. As I mentioned, I think the other color on the Prime Knit upper of the clay is a little bit lighter than the Sesame colorway V2. I think it closer matches the Oreo colorway of the Yeezy. It's really not white and black. If you look at it, it's kind of like an off cream, a light beige. And when you put these two shoes together, I think there's a pretty convincing argument to be made that the white color in the Oreo colorway V2 is what you find on the top of the Prime Knit upper of the clay V2. Of course, just like the Sesame colorway, I think that depending on the light and the angle, you could be convinced that this white on the Oreo colorway is or isn't the secondary color on the clay Prime Knit upper. The clay V2 has an interesting midsole. It's kind of peachish, it's kind of light orangish, it's translucent-ish. You put them all together and you get just this interesting color. People have said creamsicle, but I think there's another shoe in the Adidas line that maybe inspired this particular colorway. If you look at the Pharrell Human Race Holy Multi colorway, you can see the oranges and the peaches on the laces, on the Prime Knit upper, and on the rim of the shoe where you place your foot in. Now, it's not exact. So far, we've not come to an exact color replica, but I think the peach hues in this, even on the trail outsole, come very close to what you find on the clay V2. The collection of peach and orange, orangey peach, peachy orange on the Pharrell Williams comes pretty close to the peachy orange hue of the midsole, the outsole, and a little bit of the upper. Now, if you look closely, the V2 has that oh so familiar stitching pattern up the middle of the Prime Knit upper. The lacing is actually closer to a gold colorway, which in turn is close to the laces, which the laces are actually a little bit darker than the color that you find on the Prime Knit upper. The laces kind of match the stitching and kind of match the rim of the ankle area where you place your foot. And I think that closely matches the gold trim, the gold highlights that you find on the Ronnie Fieg Naked CS2. On that shoe, it's just white leather with the gold trim going up, the 3 stripes on the middle of the shoe, but you also have the hints of Naked and Ronnie Fieg and Adidas in gold on that shoe. To me, that color really kind of matches what's going on the clay V2. And I do kind of think that the whole Ronnie mixture of colors to create one color, sort of the aspen pink kind of colorway, inspired this colorway. Because it's not orange, it's not peach. It has those hues, it has those undertones. It's a collection of colors that bring out that color, much like the Ronnie 5 shoes, who are in that aspen red, yellow, orange, green, etc., putting them all together and coming out with a fantastic salsa of color for your feet. Now we come to the shoe that, well, according to my collection, closely matches the back heel tab of the Clay V2. It's the Adidas Young One in the original orange and navy blue colorway. It's a bright orange, it's a solary orange, it's a volty orange, and it has pink undertones. If you look at the outsole of the shoe, it's a bright orange with a peachish, pinkish outsole in the middle. I think both of these colors can be found on the Clay V2. If you look at the midsole of the Young One, it's also pink and peach kind of mixed together, and I think that too actually fits along with what you find on the Clay V2. And finally, I think the overall orange aesthetic of the Young One closely, like super duper close, I'm convinced it's pretty much the same color with minor alterations, to the pull tab on the Clay V2. I cannot speak highly enough about the shoe. I was a doubter, I was a hater, I was hesitant, I was all of those things when the colorways were first announced. I'm so glad I grabbed the Clays. The Clays, to me, having not seen the Hyperspace or Terraform in real life, these shoes are like Ben Affleck in Phantoms. The bomb. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and just chill. Till the next episode.